Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning is insane.
What time is it?
It's my phone's stuck in my pocket.
Yeah.
It's 2:25.
2:25.
Yeah. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Aftermat podcast.
Yeah, welcome guys. Just keep the mic like fist length.
Yeah.
Perfect. This is really for him. The mic just drifts away as he talks. It's hilarious.
He tells me each podcast.
I have a video of me kicking the microphone back to his face as he's like mid-conversation, just moving.
He's always doing this.
Yeah.
I always think about speaking to the tip of the mic.
Oh, close that
door. That was the first thing,
so
speaking to the tip.
Just for echo.
Okay.
Get real deep and personal. So we have Coach AJ.
Yo.
What's up? Shout out your social media.
Oh man, my social media, that's interesting.
Just any
GlobalCombatAcademy.com. That's
right.
the gym's website. Go to that, and it usually takes you to all the other media platforms. Global Combat Academy, 10 Planet Louisville's on Facebook. We also have a Twitter account. And like I said, we do have an Instagram as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and is there any events coming up?
There is. There's March 23rd. We have a dual tournament. We have the first day, the 23rd. It's actually 23rd and 24th. The 23rd is like a normal EBI sub-only tournament, or EBI rules sub-only tournament with overtimes and all that. And of course, it's like $40 to enter. Just your normal tournament. It goes by weight, rank, and age, or whatever, roughly. But the next day is the one I'm really most excited about. It's a quintet. I think we got about 5 teams, separate teams, signed up already to compete in that. And I'm just really gonna have fun with that one because that's the first quintet we've done, and the first time I get to do that platform. I'm super excited. We're gonna get it filmed up and like put it on YouTube too.
When is it happening?
The 24th. It'd be the 24th, which is a Sunday. We're going to get started between 9 and 10 a.m. because it's going to be a long day. So, there's going to be there's 5 separate teams. So that means there's probably going to be like 10 whole brackets altogether, or 10 whole teams, like 2 separate brackets. So it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
gonna be fun.
When you told me about it, it sounded so exciting. I was training. I was like, oh man, I'd love to compete. Mm-hmm. And then I injure myself, and
he got wrecked by
it's
a
hilarious.
purple belt.
No,
it's hilarious.
That sucks. Yeah. It happens, man. When you go at the pace we go, things are gonna get injured and tore up. So,
but now I think about it, it'll kind of be fun just being a spectator.
Yeah.
I never got to enjoy just spectating. Always having to compete.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah. So now it'll be kind of fun to cheer on
maybe
teammates.
I could get you to do a little bit of reffing.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Yeah. We always need refs, man. And
I'd love to decide people's fates.
Yeah. Well, they do that in sub only, so
Dude, it's crazy. I've went into Naga tournaments where the dude who's reffing goes and competes with me right afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's hilarious. So, and then his friend takes over.
The Fuji's guys will do that too.
Yeah,
the Fuji tournament.
They get it's free.
Yeah, that's how. That's why they ref. Is they get $100 and it's free.
That's hilarious,
dude. Mm-hmm. Now I'm thinking about paying the refs and the timekeepers this time too. That way, it's a little bit more appealing instead of stressing out the whole day for free.
I don't have to slip Travis $20 anymore. To give me a nice call.
I know he stresses out, man. He hates doing the kids.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame him.
Those kids go at
stress
it,
me out.
though.
Yeah.
They be trying to tear
reckless
each other's
abandon,
limbs
dude. They have no.
I feel like when you're a kid, that part of your brain hasn't processed yet, though.
Oh, dude. Just watching those kids roll scares me. I'm like, I'm not training to compete with the people I compete with now. I'm training to compete with those kids.
Yeah,
those kids are going to be the future.
Oh yeah,
guys.
Like the kids at Richmond, dude. They look like they were rolling like adults.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah, dude, those kids are scary.
It's how they run their they run their program like an adult program.
Yeah.
They don't run it like a kid's program. Yeah. They don't really do a lot of games and like we do. You know what I'm saying? They don't really do that. Because all their kids are into it though. Mm-hmm. Like they have a group of kids that are straight killer competitors because there ain't nothing else to do around in Richmond for a kid. No. You know what I mean? So they finally latched onto one sport that they like, and then they're all in. The parents are all in. Everybody, the whole community's all in.
Joe Rogan likes it. We're all gonna do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, honestly.
Dude, you ever met a Joe Rogan family? Like a family that just loves Rogan. Everybody does.
There's a lot of families
jiu-jitsu,
like that.
everybody, you know, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's awesome too.
A lot of 10 Planet families.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's all about the Rogans.
The thing I noticed at Richmond, like the difference between them and us, keep it up.
What?
They're very disciplined, like they're so traditional. Like the whole,
Yeah.
you know.
Because Scott comes from a real traditional background.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when, especially like his catch wrestling background isn't necessarily traditional, but is Eric Paulson.
Yeah.
And he had a black belt in that. And then, of course, he got a black belt under Eddie, too, in jiu-jitsu. But in the midst of all that, he also got there's a step in Muay Thai, there's like steps of instruction.
Yeah.
Right? You can be Sifu, then after, like, there's one before Sifu, then you're Sifu, and then after Sifu you get the highest one, which is Chai or John Chai or whatever.
Something, I don't know. That's just traditional Thai.
It's either Aljun, I can't remember if the dude's name is Aljun or Chai, but the head guy is Aljun Chai or whatever, and I don't know which one of those names are his rank and which one's his name, because he's from, you know what I mean, he's from Thailand. So
It sounds the same.
It's like Brazilians.
I don't speak Thai.
Yeah.
I don't really get it. You know what I mean?
It's like when you beat a Brazilian, Jean Jacques
Yeah.
I get the huns,
When you meet an Arab, it's even worse.
Brazilian, like fluent, like favela Brazilian. Like if you ever hear it, it sounds like music. It sounds like they're like singing it, like everything rhymes, everything.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
It's weird.
it's like capoeira.
Yeah.
Which they do too. Yeah.
Capoeira, they made that shit. It was made by Brazilian slaves because they weren't allowed to fight.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to, so they masked the technique in dance.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's dedication, honestly.
And created. That's the first martial art I really wanted to do as an
Capoeira?
adult. Before I started to do MMA, because I was an old break dancer, and I went up to New York. Oh gosh, it may have been 95, maybe 95. I'm old. Yeah, I'm old. Anyway, so I used to take frequent trips up to New York because I was a breakdancer, and that was the hub of breakdancing in the East Coast was New York. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you want to be good or be around the best people, you go to New York and you compete, or you just go to New York and hang out or whatever. So that's what we did. And me and my buddy Tony Tony Lott, we went to New York a few times, and we met these capoeira guys. Dude, it's a whole different level of breakdance up there. Whoa. You know what I'm saying? These capoeira guys, dude, and they all wore like helmets. It was the weirdest thing ever because they were always helmets, like bike helmets. Yeah, the ones that were kind of flattish on top, not the roundy ones, but like the old school ones were like kind of flattish on top or whatever. Those were the ones that they would wear, and I was like, "What the fuck are these guys wearing these goofy helmets or whatever?" Well, they did it because they would head spin, and most of the clubs in New York, they have concrete floors. They don't have wood floors. They don't have carpet, of course, or even vinyl or linoleum. They would just have concrete floors, and it'd tear your head up. And so anyway, and not only that, but this guy would start spinning on his head, and this dude spinned on his head for like at least 3 whole minutes. And that's a long time. That's a long time to spin. Usually you get 35 seconds, 50 seconds, something like that, and then it's like, damn, it was a while. Dude, no, this motherfucker was like reading a book, you know? Doing his shit, solving math equations.
You can die like that. I've seen that on 1,000 Ways to Die.
Oh,
Like, dude, this break dancing
All
on his
blood comes to your head.
Dude, when I was growing up, that's how old I am. That's when breakdancing was starting to get popular in the beginning. Was when I was in middle school. Like I think I was in 6th grade. And dude, I remember seeing reports on the news all the time. But such and such broke his neck, doing his head spin or trying to come out of a head spin or this. Yeah, it was super crazy. So head spins for a while was like kind of like the dark arts kind of thing.
Like
you know what I mean? Yeah. They're kind of like but then of course people learned how to do it correctly and over time, and it became like the best thing ever. But yeah, it was crazy, man. New York's a wild place, man.
I used to live there.
Yeah?
For like 4 years.
I'm sorry to hear that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. No, dude, I grew up in the
trashy,
projects, bro.
No
kidding. It was not well. Yeah. You know what's crazy? When I first came to America, obviously New York was like a big city, so like my parents would send me to school, and I would just be walking to school regularly, and then I'd see people throw out like toys and stuff and TVs and consoles or whatever, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Why are they throwing this out? And I didn't know. I was like, okay, it's somebody's stuff. You can't take it. And then someone's like, oh, that's trash. And I was like, you Americans just throw
this is free,
bro. I used to just walk by. I used to be like, new toy.
Why not,
dude? My parents would be like, "Where'd you get all these toys from?" I was like,
Would you go to America?
Believe it or not, they just leave them in the
because
street.
in America, Dad, like one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
My parents started stealing. I was like, no, they just leave them.
You came to America when you were 12?
No, 7.
7?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. It's
in like
crazy
2012.
Americans take that for granted.
Oh, there's a lot of
So
like when I went to Iraq and stuff, the electricity would turn off.
Yeah. The grid sucks over there.
Yeah, it sucks, dude.
That.
And then you wouldn't have any air conditioning or nothing in there, and it's hot as fuck in Iraq.
I think America's one of the few nations where most everybody has air conditioning.
Yeah,
because other countries, most everybody don't have air conditioning.
Yeah. And it's not even like it's electricity. Other countries don't have reliable electricity.
Yeah.
You can't get clean water pumped. Nothing.
Yeah. And the government is so much worse too, honestly. As much as I like to talk shit about our government, because
there's a lot to talk shit about.
Yeah, exactly.
They make it easy.
Believe it or not, in Morocco, I would see you obviously see crime happening all the time, and people call the police. I think in my 7 years that I lived there, I've seen the police respond 3 times.
Dang.
Dude, I mean, they came late.
Dang, it's like COVID police over there.
Yeah. It's hilarious. There's no emergency. I don't think there's a 911. I think you just tell a neighbor, and then the neighbor screams it. Hopefully someone hears it.
You tie a note to a pigeon, and hope it makes it to the doctor.
Yeah.
Go to the witch doctor. Jeez, dude.
Oh. Have you ever been to a Muslim country?
No.
Oh.
The only other country I've been to is the Bahamas. That's the only other anything out of the country. Other than that, I've been in the U.S.
We have to go to Saudi Arabia one day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't have
Mecca.
to. Not really.
No.
I don't really have that much of an interest actually to go.
No, I mean they love.
I'd probably make it back.
They have a 10th planet over there.
Yeah.
They love jiu-jitsu in Saudi Arabia.
No kidding.
I mean, the guy who owns ADCC. Yeah. He
princes.
He was secretly a prince.
Yeah.
He was just training, and then he didn't tell nobody he was a prince. He was just like, I'm just a regular dude.
Yeah.
And then he's like, guys, I'm a prince.
Yeah.
He just creates
I'm gonna spend a lot of money. I'm gonna get all the best grapplers on the planet.
Yeah.
And we're gonna fight each other like blood sport, but jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, talk about someone who had a vision.
Crazy story.
And now it's literally the dopest tournament on the planet.
ADCC. Yeah. That's the one everyone wants to go to. And
that's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it is, honestly, for jiu-jitsu. That and like IBJJF Worlds, that's pretty popular too.
Yeah. It's popular. Yeah.
But not as much as ADCC.
Yeah, it's more ADCC.
It's official.
It's more of a non-Brazilian organized
I was gonna say
thing because and the cool thing is like the rule set really reflects where it's from too because
it's an EBI rule set. Yeah.
It's a real wrestle jitsu styled rule set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So or it's a grappling rule set, not necessarily a jiu-jitsu rule set. Where in IBJJF, it's completely a jiu-jitsu rule set.
Yeah, and it's gi heavy too.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
they're
super
heavy on the gi.
It's super they look for submissions.
Yeah.
Like people over there are there to get a submission. They're not there to win on points.
Yeah.
And if they are, they usually lose pretty fast because the guys who are hungry for the submissions are always going to win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely have. I think at the very highest level, like the semifinals and the finals, that the submissions slow down a little bit, depending on who's going. The submissions slow down. I noticed that with Gordon Ryan's matches, the last few matches of his bracket, he'll slow it down quite a bit. You know what I mean? And I don't really think it's because he's tired. It's because it's just such a technical game at that point.
You're going against guys.
Submissions are very rare, actually. At the very and the semifinals and the finals, they don't really get a lot of submission. Usually, it's done by an advantage or a point.
Yeah.
It's usually how they win. Like Gordon Ryan beat Felipe Pena on just a technicality on one. You know, before that, of course, Pena beat him on points or whatever. I don't know that he's ever really. I'm probably wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen him as a black belt get submitted by anybody. You know what I mean? So it's usually just. Huh?
Pena or Ryan?
Ryan.
Yeah.
Or Ryan, yeah.
I
No,
don't
I've
think
seen
he's
Pena
been
get submitted as a high level black belt, but Pena's dope, man. He's really good. He's just not as good as Gordon Ryan. That's really all it is. All it boils down to. Same
lot
thing
of
with
people like
Andre
that.
Goval. Andre Goval is literally the most decorated dude in history for jiu-jitsu. Nobody's got more accolades than Andre Goval. Not even Gordon Ryan.
Yeah.
And then he, of course, dog walked him in that match that they had. But you have to consider Gordon Ryan was 27 at the time, and Andre Goval was 40 at the time. You know what I mean? So like he was already on his downslope or whatever. But that's kind of how that works.
Mm-hmm.
The young lion always takes out the old
It's
tiger.
a passing of the
You know what I
torch.
mean? Yeah, you're just doing that or whatever.
That's why they don't tell you. That's why they tell you to not do the flashy submissions at the highest level. Like they're not going to work.
They won't work.
Just like you said, Gordon Ryan won on just a technicality.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of times you'll take that. You'll take just winning
whatever.
on 1
Wins
point.
winning. Yeah, that's $100 grand. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's 100
That's
G's.
true.
And he won a lot of those.
Yeah, dude.
Of course, he's got way more money from sponsorships than he did anything else. But he gets paid, dude. He gets paid.
He does a
I
lot
think
on
that's
social.
how every athlete wants to end up, honestly.
Yeah.
Get
Well, that's
all
the plan.
those sponsorships.
Yes,
and
that's where they
stuff
make
paid
all their
for
money.
life.
And
Yeah.
before the UFC went to that stupid Reebok sponsorship program where there's tiers and all that kind of stuff, they would all get their own sponsors. That's where they made all their money. You know what I mean? Like these guys like Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, they didn't make all their money doing fights. They
Right.
don't get paid that much money.
Right,
In the
right.
end, they made a little money, but like when
It wasn't the majority.
when Tito Ortiz was champion, he opened up Punishment Athletics. He made 10 times the money owning Punishment Athletics than he did being an MMA coach or doing MMA. Period. You know what I mean? So that's where they make all their money. Sponsorships where it's at.
Wow.
That's one of the things that we're trying to get more of here. Trying to get more sponsorships.
Yeah.
That way that, get some money for your athletes. You know what I mean?
How would you go about getting sponsorships? I mean,
Man, ours have kind of really fell into our lap in a way. Just companies that are motivated to want to contact us, like Freedom Financial. The guys, of course, Trey, he works out here and stuff, but like his partner James is really enamored with MMA too. You know what I mean? So it was a really easy sell for them to like come and sponsor the tournaments and stuff. Randy Tipton is the guy that owns Integrity Concrete. That is another one of our sponsors here, and that's just the best story ever. I mean, the guy was just in the worst shape. Excuse me, when I met him. He was just out of, being incarcerated for drugs and, had living that lifestyle or whatever. And within a year and a half, not only was he off drugs and stuff, but he was a millionaire.
wow.
Yeah, this dude's story is amazing.
Success.
You know what I mean?
Doing
It's
what?
amazing. He started out doing what's called an epoxy floor. It's just like a painted floor that if you ever see on like Facebook, whatever, you see these epoxy floors. It looks like the ocean, or a floor that looks like waves or something like that or whatever. That's an epoxy floor. They're very expensive to have installed. Like a gym this size would probably cost about $70,000 to have the whole floor epoxy floored. It's a tedious process too. You get to clean the floor, make sure there's no oils and all that kind of stuff on the floor so that the epoxy will stick correctly. But he found that's how he started to get money. So he'd sell these floor. Well, also too, the material versus labor cost on a project like that, the material's next to zero. All your money's in the labor, and if you own the company and you're doing the labor, that means it's almost no cost for you other than time. So
Right.
it's just a little bit of materials, a little bit of time, a whole lot of money. So he was smart. Plus, and I really think that there's a correlation with people who are out of prison who are really actually wanting to change their life to be more motivated. He's not the first person that I've seen that had drug problems get out of prison and completely get rich or be wealthy, independently wealthy or whatever. I think it's a thing. They're either going to go one direction or they go another direction, or they stay pretty stagnant.
That's
You know
exactly
what
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
and the other, of course, is the bad alternative.
Yeah,
But
right
with-
back to prison.
Yeah,
That's
but with
what
Randy,
it
he
is.
was
It's
determined.
a plan to go right
Yeah.
back to prison.
Yeah, but
Or
Randy,
you quit that habit
Yeah.
of, being a retard and then go out and make something for yourself. It gives you drive. I feel like those people that are out there,
A lot
they
of
have
men
drive.
don't do anything until they have to do something.
yeah, I'd say most men.
Yeah.
I'm definitely guilty of that.
Yeah.
I'm a huge procrastinator, horribly so.
Yeah, I do too. Honestly, I procrastinate a lot.
Do you,
But yeah.
do you think jiu-jitsu has affected your the way you are outside?
Everywhere, inside, outside, all the way around,
Right,
all the way around. And I really liken it a lot to Christianity in a way, or like I say this all the time to people who've never been to a gym before. But I was like, "Well, do you go to church?" I'm like, "Yeah, I go to church." It's like, well, it's very similar, and as far as like the air of the place, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're doing martial arts, we're getting better, we're like kind of beating each other up a little bit. Not really, it's not really like about beating each other up. It's just about getting better. But bumps and bruises happen along the way. I was like, but really, it's about the camaraderie of the place. You know what I mean? To me, it's really likened to a church or that kind of setting, or like
100% agree. I've even told, sir, it's the same vibe as the mosque. You come in, you greet all your teammates, your friends, your coach is there, your instructor. It's kind of like the sheikh.
Like
the preacher.
You donate, Holly. You give her $20.
Yeah, right. You get your tithe in.
Yeah. Now you can go to heaven.
And by the end of the night, it also is like a very
true.
It's like a spiritual feeling. Come in and train.
It's just
night.
like,
and it's a religious process too.
It's the idea of God. It's like you're doing something, an idea that's beyond yourself.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
You're giving yourself to something.
Yeah.
And I think so too, not even just yourself, you're actually helping other people achieve their goals. And there's something really cool about that too. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to get my stripes, belts, and goals and fights and all that stuff too. But I get a lot of joy from just through the years about helping my guys come up and be better. You know what I mean?
True.
Back when Jason and I were doing Louisville MMA years ago, which was more Jason than me, of course, but we had a guy named Ron Sparks, and dude, he was very good or whatever, man. You know what I mean? And it just helped, just him being in that environment though, it just helped everybody get good though. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't just about us getting our fights and doing good. Like, okay, Ron's got a fight. Now we all have to pool around him, you know what I mean? And really, come together as a team around this guy to get him ready to face his fight.
True.
You know what I mean?
Right,
and then we would do the same for everybody. You know what I mean?
The high tide.
Raises all ships.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
That's exactly how it is here too, honestly.
Yeah.
I wanted to create a culture that was like that. I never wanted to create a culture a gym culture is what I'm talking about. I never wanted to create a gym culture that would stop the learning process or that would inhibit a learning process. And looking through other programs, I noticed that like the guys that are super, rigid about everything, they can have some good programs or whatever. But it seemed like the guys that were really friends or really like family or whatever had better programs.
The guys that understand each other.
100%.
Yeah.
It's more than like, you come here and do business, leave.
Yeah. It's not a job.
You stay. Some people, honestly, that come to our gym, they're more into it for like Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan likes to come, see his people, then leave.
He wants to hang out.
Some people don't have the drive to want to necessarily be the best practitioner. Right. But they like the vibe and the energy.
I've known people that just come in, train, don't say nothing, and just leave.
Yeah.
Come in on time, train, just leave. That's it.
And it's good to have those guys too, honestly.
I mean, those guys sometimes get good. Or sometimes they're stuck in their own loop in their head where it's like, what's wrong with me? I can't.
I think they have more of a tendency to do number two. Yeah. I think the guys that excel the most here are the guys that are in the social group more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really don't think that the guys that are outside of the social group, and I don't want to say that we're cliquey because we're definitely not at that at all, not even remotely. But there are guys that like come in, like you said, they come in, they get their training, and they leave. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they're not really in here for the social aspect. Maybe they got something to do. They're ready to get back to their family, whichever the case may be. But like the guys that hang out and after class and are asking questions and are going through technique and stuff, those are the guys that are advancing way above everyone
willing
else.
to just sit down and just discuss like what did you think I did wrong, willing to just absorb.
Yeah.
And we have this, it's like between the competitive group, the people that go to competitions and stuff, it's like a competitive brotherhood.
Yeah.
Like you want to get bigger than the big. You want to get bigger than the big brother. You want the smaller brother to come over you. It's like James and me, you, Kayla. I'm listing names.
I think you're just projecting.
Dude, I don't know.
No, dude. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You see somebody.
It's
obviously.
wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very wholesome.
Yeah. It's conducive to more rapid learning. You know what I mean? If you have animosity or you have stress in your learning environment, say school, you know what I mean? Like, I got to get this tested. You're probably not going to do the best on the test if you're stressed out about it. Somebody's outside. I'm going to go take a look.
Go ahead.
You're good, dude. We'll take a break. He's going to have to go deal with some...
Dude, I'm shroomed out. Yeah.
You're doing good. We're back. We're back. We just... AJ had to deal with some business, dude. Somebody came and challenged him for the gym.
Sure nobody's creeping around my shit.
Does anybody... I was on Instagram, and I saw people just walking into just an MMA gym and challenging the coach. Be like, if I defeat you, I have the rights to this dojo, and you cannot be the coach.
Right. It's called gym storming. That was the really old school back. I know I'm going to drop some shit, right? So,
no, please do.
So back in the days, even back in China and Japan or whatever, they would have all these rivalries with schools. Who's got the best technique? Da 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 da. Yeah. And so that really started that. They would go to people would go to different schools and challenge that master to make sure that that master was what he said he was, or that they wanted to see if they were just better. You know what I mean? In whatever way, shape, or form, or whatever. And I don't know that they ever took over the master school. I don't know if that was part of it, but I'm sure some of that was kicked around. You know what I mean? Like, I'm better. And not only that, but really back then it was about bragging rights too, because they wanted to attract more people in their school. Yeah. So they would go in and they would gym storm and they beat the crap out of the sensei or whatever. Then then of course all the students were like, oh, this guy's way better. You know what I mean? That was their theory. You know, not. Yeah. Of course, back then you have a lot of loyalty issues and all that stuff, but people would jump ship. You know what I mean? Just like today, it would work. Yeah, it would definitely work.
That's brutal.
When the Gracies would do that, they would gym storm, and they would gym storm quite a bit. They were a little thuggish about their gym storming, though. They were just like hop up without any announcement and be like to a karate gym or someplace that was never going to beat them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The problem was back then, people didn't realize how effective jiu-jitsu was in comparison to other martial arts.
Before UFC.
That was like the Bruce Lee era.
Yeah.
Like the movies
so they're like,
and stuff.
And even Bruce Lee understood jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. It's in his book, The Tao Jiu.
In a weird way, he came up with MMA.
He was the father of MMA. I completely believe that, right? Well, other than like the old blood sport stuff back in Japan or whatever, which was actually a real thing. I don't think they called it blood sport. Yeah, or whatever.
Such a cool
I think it was Kumite.
Shout out to Chuck Norris, dude.
Yeah, right.
Real kickboxer.
Yeah,
people don't know that.
Yeah,
Gladiators almost had
7-time world champion.
Yeah.
Yep. So was Billy Blanks.
Who's that?
Billy Blanks is he's from the 80s, and he was like he did this kickboxing cardio workout videos back in the 90s or 80s and 90s and shit. Yeah, he was like ripped. He was in movies a little bit or whatever. But he was a karate or taekwondo champion or whatever, like multiple, like 7-8 times or whatever.
Right.
And he was basically a black Chuck Norris. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. Back then, Michael Jai White's kind of the same thing. He just ended up being an actor at the end instead of Billy Blanks just couldn't act. That was the problem. He sucked at acting.
Michael Jai White got some kicks.
Yeah, Michael Jai White's he has I think 6 different black belts in different martial arts. Like some of them, like of course, karate, taekwondo, stuff like that, or whatever. He does do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt in that. I'm not sure who he's under. More than likely, it's a Gracie, because back then that's really all you had. Yeah. You didn't really have anything other than the Machado brothers. You know what I mean? You didn't really have, or Mario Sperry, or somebody like that, some super old school guy from Brazil.
Yeah.
Or a Japanese instructor. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Master Aikido.
Yeah. Which is funny is like everybody like back because Brazilian jiu-jitsu got so big, Japanese jiu-jitsu kind of took a back seat. So everybody kind of really discounted a lot of Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Which would make sense.
Which does make sense. The problem is you have guys like Sakuraba who came in and just obliterated Gracie's. They called him the Gracie Hunter because he wanted to disprove
Asian dude.
That, yeah. Sakuraba was like one of the best Asian MMA fighters ever. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, he beat everybody, dude. Right. Until he got old, of course, and now he can't walk half the time because he's all beat up. But he's Sakuraba. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Number one, he'll never pay for a meal the rest of his life. Yeah. Because he is literally a national treasure. Yeah. He is like the freaking Donald Trump over there in a way. You know what I mean? Like everybody loves him. You know what I mean? Like nobody hates him. He's like
the Dennis Rodman of North Korea.
Yeah, he's a hero. Dude, he's a straight hero. Yeah. He was a Jenner before the transgender surgery.
No. That's crazy.
Dumbass. I can't stand that dude.
Who, Bruce Jenner?
What's that?
Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner, yeah. He needs to be thrown off. He needs to be thrown off an Iraqi roof anytime.
Agree.
You know?
What do you agree with?
Yeah, I agree with that part.
Yeah.
He
should be thrown off an
take him
Iraqi
on a
roof.
building and fucking toss him off.
Oh, dude, you can't.
I mean, sometimes always the best way. I don't
That's
know.
hate.
Yes.
That's hate.
Tradition, no way.
You have to love.
I'm teasing, man. I don't hate gay people. I just don't like gay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate people at all. I don't hate anybody. I hate the decisions they make.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you could be gay. That's cool. Whatever, man. Just, it's gross.
Also, if you're like a man of God, you know, and you genuinely believe in God,
Yeah.
you're gonna
It changes the way you're
yeah.
You know,
What?
I don't like how they push the agenda.
What would Jesus do?
Oh, Jesus do?
He'd forgive and
Forgive.
Yeah, dude.
I ain't Jesus.
dude, that's exactly what I would tell people. Like, you know, Jesus would forgive him. I was like, there's a difference between me and Jesus.
Yeah.
I ain't him.
First of all,
I could never be him.
I ain't Arab.
Yeah, I'm not Jewish. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Sorry, I'm not Jewish.
I ain't an Arab Jew, dude.
Yeah.
What a weird mix to be an Arab Jew.
They're the same people, bro.
But they're
It's the
yeah.
same people.
They
Yeah.
descend from I love telling the story. I think the father was Abraham.
Yes.
Yeah, the father was Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
The sons were Isaac and Ishmael. The Arabs descend from Ishmael. The Jews are from Isaac.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, there's really no difference. It's crazy all the conflict going on. You know, they've separated themselves as a people from the Arabs.
Dude, I look at
weird.
you.
It's strange.
I look at him and I
It's
wonder
like-
how he knows the story so well. But I was like, it's in his
my
blood.
Yeah.
It's literally in his blood.
It's
inherent.
crazy, dude.
The
Oh my
blood
God.
tells the story.
You know what I've noticed about each 10th planet, Jim?
What?
There's like one Muslim guy, or like there's two Muslim guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's an
It's
MMA gym without the Muslims?
Yeah. You're not.
There's
even real.
always like a handful of them
Yeah.
in each gym.
You gotta have
And
at
that's
least-
how you know it's the good gyms. You
Yeah.
come in, you see a
Those are
Muslim
the tough
one.
guys, man.
Yeah.
Those are tough guys, man.
I think the culture, not necessarily the religion,
Yeah,
but that culture
culture.
of being a traditional man.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know.
100%. The Christian culture is the same.
Yeah.
Like we're very, very conservative Christian, like real man kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no sissy crying in front of everybody, all that kind of goofy stuff. That's pretty prominent with Christians. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're very hold your feelings in kind of people and super southern, southy kind of stuff.
Which is, although today's society, you know, especially for like our age group and stuff, they want to suppress that. They're trying their best to
oh yeah,
suppress
it's okay
that.
to be sensitive.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, if you're a bitch.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here, man.
And I feel like
grow
that-
a fucking set of nuts, dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
for real.
good grief.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like in the last, because of the food, I'm sure there's some multiple food, the drugs, whichever.
Microplastics and stuff.
microplastics and stuff. So, and also all the soy that's out, we're just
Yeah.
making,
Yeah.
we're making
Autism.
Soy
bitches
boys.
out of every man. You know,
Yeah.
all the men are be bitches now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have their testosterone levels are super low.
Yeah.
Right. That's why testosterone clinics are huge right now. I know because I go to one. You know what I mean? They're wildly successful because men are trying to be men again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But social media will not allow that because it's offensive to be a man.
100%,
You know what I mean? And be
yeah.
proud of being a man.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's like
That's true.
honestly, and on the other hand, it's offensive to be a woman and be proud to be just a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
gotta have something. You gotta have a pronoun attached to your shit in order to be cool anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what I find scary? That they tell women to, especially when they're young nowadays, that you shouldn't want a baby. You should want
Yeah.
to be a CEO.
Yeah.
You should be, you know,
yeah.
you shouldn't have to raise a baby. You know, you could do that you could do that later, and then they don't tell them that later. Less chances of having a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More chances of defects.
It's just another attack on the family.
Yeah.
And it really boils down
It
to like
is.
it's a great strategy if you want to control. You know what I
Sure.
mean? The first line of defense between everything in the world is family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like family, and within family, then you develop your faith system, and everything stems originally from family. Okay, now I would say God should come first, but originally, if we're being real, everything comes from family. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know God first, you know family first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So and they're just trying to break that bond, the family bond apart, to where that they can control whatever you say and do or think and buy. You know what I mean?
Traditionalism.
Yeah. So they don't want any of that. They don't want a good, strong man, a good, strong woman. That a good, strong woman knows the role that she plays and is comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? There's something wrong with that. Like my daughter. She doesn't really like traditionally like work like a bunch of hours. Her husband works. She stays home, takes care of the children, just like they kind of did. I say the 50s, but like it's really just traditional home, nuclear family, or whatever. Right. And that's frowned on now. Now they're she's weak because she don't go make a paycheck. Who wants to do that as a woman?
It's so weird.
It's a non-traditional era.
I grew up in Morocco. Everybody knew their mother and father. It was a normal thing, and the idea of not having not having your father and mother with you in the family is weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody like that.
Yeah.
But then when I came to America, it was kind of uncommon to find people that just had their father and mother, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
They made it legally and monetarily easy for men to leave the home.
Yeah.
They really did.
With child support.
Yeah, with child support. Now, all I gotta do is send them some money. Okay, I ain't even got to show up. Okay, that's easy. Not only that, but okay, I'll leave. You won't be totally screwed because the government will give you all the money.
Incentivizes the mother not to work.
Right. Yeah. So now we just got this broken home. Yeah. No positive male figure. Right. A broken down female figure because she's tired. She has to work all the time to try to make the ends meet, even though the government's paying for some of it. But some of them are more motivated than others. Not everybody. Not every woman is just trying to live off the government. A lot are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people are.
A lot of people are. You know what I mean? But there are people that are trying to break that mold and not just and try to get back to that, the original family. But man, now it's just so easy not to do that. They facilitated that completely. It's just another way that they've taken and broken the system down to where they got it to where they want. Now, when you're talking like early television or whatever, they call television programming, in my point, for a reason.
Right.
Or in my opinion, for a reason, because they're literally
they always tell you what they're doing.
Yeah, and they're not even shy about it. Okay, this is what this is doing. You know what I mean? So I remember back when I was watching TV as a kid, you couldn't say any cuss word on public television. It was completely not allowed. You couldn't say shit. You couldn't say bitch. You couldn't say damn.
What was that agency called? The FDC.
The FTC? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was that the thing that stopped people from...
FTC or FD? Yeah, FTC. No.
I remember Eminem.
FCC.
Eminem said something about
the Federal Communications...
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, FCC. Yeah, you could never do any of that. You
Can't
know what I mean?
stop this video.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
there isn't one anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't care what you say, when you say, or how you say it. Now you can take the Lord's name in vain if you want on public television around all the kids in the class. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Which is illegal.
Of course. Now we're letting drag queens read gay stories to our children.
Yeah,
you know
which is crazy.
And that's
why is that a thing? Why do people like going?
Because they want to normalize homosexuality. They want to normalize weakness.
Yeah.
Why do parents go there?
Because they're woke. Because they just want to be so part of this society that they feel so sorry for these poor gay people that they're gay, which is a choice, of course, but they choose this lifestyle, and yet other people are, I'm so sorry that you had to go through all this animosity and all this other kind of stuff because you're gay, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what, dude? You made the choice to do that. At any time, you can make the choice not to do that, okay? Because I don't care what anybody says. Nobody is born gay. I don't care what anybody says. That's my belief, and if anybody doesn't like it, piss off, whatever. My God doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
My God doesn't misrepresent himself in any way, shape, or form. My God will never create a human being that is outwardly gay from birth.
Yeah.
Okay? I just don't believe that's a possibility. Now, are there kids that are born with gay tendencies? 100%.
What do you mean, like gay tendencies?
So I know this kid. I won't name him or whatever. He used to hang around with my daughter or whatever, and I didn't like it because I knew the kid was a little sugar tank. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really like that. You know what I mean? I didn't really like that. You don't want to, as a parent, if you don't want your child to be exposed to that, then don't get them exposed to that. It's okay not to allow that to happen because you have certain moral compass or moral values. Okay, and homosexuality, if you're a Christian, is against all of those moral values. Okay, regardless of what any media tries to tell you. Yes, we definitely want to be respectful of their person. We don't want to be a complete asshole to them just because of the way they choose to live their life. But that doesn't mean we have to agree with everything they say and how they live their life. And also, it doesn't mean that we want to be bombarded with it every time we step out our door or open our laptop or clip open our phone. You know what I mean? And that we're just assaulted with homosexuality constantly, which again is breaking down the nuclear family, the family mold that God set forth. You know, and it's an insane world that we live in.
What do you think?
It's not cool. It's not even cool to be a heterosexual dude anymore. Regardless of what race you are, that doesn't make any difference at all. But being gay or being not being, and if you're not gay, then you got to have a pronoun. Yeah. Now, okay, I'm not totally gay. I think this guy's cute. What's that mean? Well, you're this, that, and the other. Like, that's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, when people say they're bi. No, dude.
Yeah, you're gay.
No, man. If you either, look, man, Andrew Dice Clay said it best. You either suck dick or you don't suck dick. Yeah. Okay? You're either gay or you're not. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you suck dick and you're a dude, you're gay. Okay? If you're a woman and you lick pussy, you're a lesbo. That's just the way it is, dude.
That's hilarious.
But all this gray area,
great way to
there's
put
no gay. There's no gray in gay. You know what I'm saying? It's white or black.
There's no gray in gay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like there's none of that in there. You know what I mean? And so that's what it is. And look, man, don't get the wrong idea. Like, I hate gay people. I don't hate gay people. I have a daughter that's gay.
He does.
Yeah. I get it. I understand that point of view too, because I went for a long time completely hating gay people. But one of my daughters is gay. She lives with a woman and all that kind of goofy stuff or whatever. And no, I don't like what she does. Obviously, I'm a Christian guy. I can't stand what she does. But at the same time, that's my daughter. You know what I mean? I love her. I want her to have the best life ever or whatever. And I have to understand that, like, these aren't the choices that I'm making. These are the choices she's making. Yeah. I don't have to even respect the choices she makes. But I'm not going to be a dick about it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, calling her a fag or calling her, like, telling her that she's going to hell all the time. She knows the deal. Yeah. She grew up in my house. She went to church. Yeah. She understands what the Bible and what God says about homosexuality. So I don't have to continuously remind her of that. You know what I mean? It's a decision. It is 100% a decision. You know, there is no born gay. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh, back to the story. So, like, this person that was hanging around with my daughter or whatever, he come out and he was very feminine. Very effeminate guy or a very feminine kid. And I remember them having a Build-A-Bear party or whatever. So they had these... The Build-A-Bear company would come in and, like, you could stuff the bears or whatever, and they put little outfits on them. But just the kids were like 7. You know what I mean? Well, this kid, being a dude, whatever, wanted a female bear with a cheerleader outfit on. Oh yeah. Not like a cop or like a construction worker or a firefighter or anything. Nothing like nothing manly, nothing dudeish. Yeah. He's like he wanted to. And
he's a real guard puller.
Yeah. A real guard puller, right? Guard jumper, right? Right. But so anyway, and I remember his mom just toiling over it. So here's
what does toiling mean?
Toiling means just like agonizing over it all the time. Just like really just like having to like really going through it about it because she didn't want him to be gay, obviously. Because she's very conservative. She was Catholic. She goes to church or whatever, you know. So we can talk about the Catholic thing any other time, but like, you know, she didn't want that. Her dad, the boy's dad, ended up like really trying to get him out of it, trying to like man him up or what. None of it worked, or whatever. Which tells me
if you come out a little bit, you know, on the lighter side, you didn't have a father figure in your life to kind of show you.
He did come from a split home. Right. My daughter came from a split home too. I think there's definitely a correlation between a positive male figure and sexuality. Right. You know what I mean? And you can look that up. I'm sure that there's plenty of
mother's just as important. Yeah. Because if you don't have that feminine side, you're not going to understand. You know,
you're not going to understand women if you don't have a sister. It's definitely better to grow up with everything all the time.
That right there has been imprinted. This is only an American problem, honestly. The whole, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a European problem too.
European
problem. There's plenty of gay people in Europe. Elton John is a pretty famous gay guy.
Like the Middle East and Russia. Shout out John. But like the Middle East and Russia and even China, they implement that, you know, have your mother and father.
Yeah,
you know.
Very family orientated society.
faith-based family.
Yeah.
And I feel like those are the ones with the strongest children.
In my opinion. That's also why there's so many gay people in America, because they've attacked the family unit. They've attacked that nuclear family, and there isn't a nuclear family anymore. And the funny thing is that when we see that now, it's like, damn, that is cool. It'd be so nice to have both parents.
It's unique.
Everybody, you know what I'm saying?
Like me compared to all my friends, I'm really
He's
like
the odd man out.
I really am.
Because you have both your parents.
I have both my parents.
Yeah.
My dad's a very strict disciplinary father.
Yeah, it was always kids would tell me like, man, my dad, he just can't, I never see him, and he never came for my birthday, and I'm like, well, I don't know.
Or you hear stories.
And when you're a kid and someone telling you that, I'm like, what does that mean?
That's crazy.
My dad's always with, he's with me too much.
Yeah, I was like, I wish my dad would take a vacation.
What's crazy to me is that, around like middle school and high school, I'd be, buddies with these dudes, and they talk about how they fought their dad or some shit. And I'm like, man, I'm not fighting my dad.
Yeah.
That's such a,
who's going to drive me to school?
Yeah, the type of
that too.
type of family, like a Middle Eastern household or like Arab household, North African, whatever.
Yeah.
The traditional household, you don't grow up with that thought because he's the disciplinary figure. Mm-hmm. You're not like, man, fuck the disciplinary figure. I'm gonna attack the disciplinary figure.
Yeah, when it comes to
you grow up with that discipline off rip. You're like, okay.
You have respect.
Yeah.
They teach a lot of respect.
My dad was the Tom Brady of beating my ass, and my mom was the defensive.
Oh yeah.
Just in case I try to run.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
No, that was definitely not. My dad was definitely a beater. Yeah, he didn't care.
You need it though.
You do, man. Especially if you're a
As
boy.
a man,
I think especially a boy. A boy's going to need a lot more corporal punishment than a girl. A girl, you have to go another route. Girls are emotional beings. You have to speak with them on an emotional level.
Yeah.
Guys, you can speak to them on an emotional level all fucking day, and they'll be like, huh? You know what I mean?
If it doesn't make sense,
but you
beat their ass, they'll remember it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my dad would never talk to me about it.
A weird thing about guys, if talking to them, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like the guy's gonna say, we're used to saying,
Yep.
But
then you get an ass whooping.
What time is it?
It's
Give me that time. I have to get out of here in a little bit.
3:13.
Oh, I have to get out of here.
I gotta clean these mats.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Dudes.
Later.